Hi Taurus, welcome to your week ahead Taroscope with me, Raphael from Reydiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. Quick note, these readings are for your sun, moon and ascendant sign. So whether you're a sun, moon or rising sign Taurus, it's for you. Remember, they are general readings. Use your own discernment. Before we start, as always, I would like to bless my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance, and I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise and they help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So let's give these a good shuffle. So for your key to the week, you have the World card. And I just want to say, if you are a continued subby, you know Rafi loves you. If you're new to my channel, please don't forget to like, share, and if you should so choose and it resonates, hit the subscribe button. Sorry, I hate it when it does that. Come on. There we go. All right. It's very blurry. And if you are, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button. So before we start, let's get into, or should I say, let me give these a shuffle. So that's going to be your first card out. I know what it is. Right, so you've got the universe card. In this deck, it's the universe, but this is the world card, effectively, right? And so what this means is, this week, there is an expansion energy that really pervades everything that you're doing. There is a breath of fresh air in some way, shape or form. You are stepping onto or into new plateaus. You're going to see that you're reaching new levels. But the thing about this is, you know, when you say that to people, they're like, oh, excellent, yeah, do the little hair flick. And it's like they forget that when you go to a new level, you start out at the bottom rung of that level. You don't just go straight up to the top of the next level, right? An up level means that you've finished one and you're beginning a new one. So in all of these different areas of your life, yes, there are going to be moments of success. There's going to be moments of full circle. There's going to be moments of enjoyment and pleasure and all of that good stuff. But there is also going to be the realization of, okay, this is the start of the next level now. The other thing with the World card, it can and does represent the community. So in all of these different areas, it may not necessarily be what you know, but it might be more about who. For your actions and options this week, you've got the Hanged Man, right? This is a card of waiting, patience and stillness. So when you have your level up, when you take that moment and you step over a new threshold of some sort, you kind of have to just look around and say, okay, this is the new land, right? This is the new lay of the land. The other thing with this and the World card, it may very well be that the community or the connections that you have or once had, you're starting to get really serious about what and who is making the cut now. The other thing with this as well, remember, it does represent an ability to be detached from things, right? To step away from them in some regard. So these are all things to consider. Excuse me, in terms of the options that are available to you, what about a little bit of a break? Not something else to do, but just a moment to take a breath and admire and observe how far you've come. For your communications and conversations, you've got the Ace of Cups. This week you will be hearing about a birth, not a pregnancy, a birth. This will be a baby born. We know that because there's a few reasons and I won't go into them. Anyway, for that reason, the other thing with the Ace of Cups, because it's in your communications and conversations, communications are easy this week. And with the World card, they have a very expansive energy. So some part of your work or your studies that have been on hold, this is going to move them forward, right? That Ace of Cups is bringing some really good stuff in for you. Now, for those of you that are studying or in some form of academia, take the break, enjoy it, right? It looks like you've worked hard enough to take a moment where you can take your foot off the pedal. When it comes to those of you that are employed by somebody else, it may not necessarily be the actual promotion, but it's definitely the conversation that suggests things are moving in that direction. Take your time. You don't have to rush anything here, all right? When it comes to those of you that are business owners, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, people that work for themselves, this is business that had come your way that maybe had been refused. Maybe you refused it because you didn't have time and you knew you wouldn't be able to do a good job. Maybe they decided to go with somebody else. You know, whatever the case might be, this is not only a second shot at the apple, but with that Hanged Man, if you play it right, there's also a chance to negotiate. If someone had offered you something and then they come back to you and say like, oh, actually, I'm going to go with somebody else. They go to that person, they realize that that person's not for them, and they come back to you. That's prime negotiation time, right? Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying, you know, this is your license to fleece people, but at the same time, I gave you a good offer the first time round. You weren't interested. You went away because you thought you got a better offer, and now you're coming back to me. So you know what? Let's talk numbers, right? In here, spiritual though I may be, there is a business mind, I assure you. For those of you, right? For those of you. Sorry, I know that was a really evil cackle, but listen, right? I ain't out here trying to be nobody's sloppy seconds. For those of you that are retired and no longer working, I actually think this will be a very welcome news of a birth, but with that Hanged Man here as well, this might actually be you beginning to start working on what you would consider a spiritual endeavor or project, something that has a lot more of an internal spiritual feel to it, as opposed to just you know, like, oh yeah, well, I'm going to do this. Like there is a feeling that you're fulfilling something for yourself on a spiritual level that just feels really good to you. When it comes to your love and relations, you have the Page of Swords. Okay, so look, if you're partnered, married, or in long-term commitments, there are some tough conversations to be had this week, but the way that you get through it isn't necessarily through sort of it. Having the hard conversation will be the byproduct, right? There's obviously a disagreement here somewhere, but this suggests that the way that you navigate this, or the way that you move forward, is by remembering what's important to both of you at that heart-spaced level. And that Ace of Cups with the Page of Swords, it's like there's some really good news coming in for either you or for your partner or collectively, and it kind of takes the edge off, right? It's like, I don't know if you've ever had that experience where you're arguing with someone and it gets really tense, it gets really heated, and then something really good happens and it kind of just breaks the, you know, or I've seen this happen with friends who have children, right? If they're having an argument and then the kid comes in and says something or does something really silly but really cute, it just kind of snaps them out of it. There might be one of these moments this week where you're like, okay, you know what? This has reminded me that this is what's important. And at the heart level, we do still want the same thing, right? So just finding a way to navigate that. For those of you that are single and looking to mingle, that Page of Swords, especially because you have the World card, it's very likely to be through your professional sphere. Remember, you got that Ace of Cups in the communications and conversations. So if you're meeting someone this week, it does say take it slow, right? Don't rush it. Don't try to put too much on it or make it what it isn't straight away. But that Page of Swords with the Ace of Cups, this is you connecting to or meeting with somebody that you are connecting to or through with your work. So very, very nice. For your money and materials, you have the Page of Pentacles. So for those of you that are partnered, the issue, the dispute, the challenge that you're having, it is a financial one. All right, there's some hard conversation around money, finances, and resources that will need to be had. For when it comes to your Page of Pentacles and your money and materials, when it comes to money, this is you sowing a seed of sorts, right? This is a conversation, potentially a contract. For some of you, this might be a new study or a new area of skill or expertise that you embark on, that you look at and you say, in the long run, I know this is going to make me more money. And because you've got it right next to the Page of Cups, it suggests something that you really want to do anyway. So it's like, not only do you get the benefit of studying something that will end up being lucrative for you as a skill, you're also studying something or doing something that actually feels really good to you. And so it's like you just get this continuous positive feedback loop, which is great, right? But those two pages can get a little loud at times, so watch out for that. When it comes to your physical health and vitality, the Page of Pentacles is the body in a lot of ways, and because you've got the Hanged Man here, This can and possibly will show up. Again, I'm not a doctor. I can't give you medical advice. This is not a diagnosis, but it can show up as hormonal imbalances. And if that is the case, this is a hormonal imbalance that's coming up because of like mental fatigue, or maybe the mental fatigue is a side effect of whatever the hormonal imbalance is. So if you have something like this, get to your doctor and kind of, you know, have them have a look around that kind of stuff. When it comes to your home and environment, the Page of Wands is you starting again. I think a lot of you are looking for a new home right now. And I think by the time the end of this week comes, I think a lot of you will have found one. And I think a lot of you will have made the very firm decision to say it's, you know, it's time to move. Which, you know, for Taurus, for any of the fixed signs, a move is a big deal. With that said, let me know in the comments how it shapes up. If you want to book your personal reading with me, you can do so on the links in the description box below. Take care, and I'll see you soon.